So they got Fat Joe. They got Fat Joe, man. What is happening with our hip hop leaders, bro? What is going on? For those of you who don't know what's going on right now, basically Fat Joe and his ex hype man have been having a little bit of a back and forth. The dude is retired now. He's basically saying that Fat Joe owes him a lot of money because he helped him with his image and all that stuff. Fat Joe is saying nah, which is a classic hip hop story. But here is where it gets crazy. This dude now is ready to do a whole tell-all, basically saying, yo, I've been with this dude and he's creepy just like how Diddy is. And he says that he was there for over 4,000 different adult acts. Some he even knows of where he may or may not have been there, involved some minors as well too, which is crazy, man. I mean, number one, needing a hype man for your freak off is crazy. That is nuts. That's nuts in the first place. I mean, you would think, I get needing somebody on stage, but in the bedroom, come on, man. No wonder this dude's mad. He was putting in overtime. Next, I mean, I think we also got to talk about what's going on and just how the times are changing. That doesn't excuse anybody's behavior or anything, but obviously, as we all know, back in the 80s, back in the 90s, being with somebody who was like slightly underage wasn't cool. It wasn't like the cool thing to do, but it was a lot more accepted, And I think because of that, and because these dudes had so much fame at that time, you're gonna find out a lot more of these guys are gonna go down for the same exact thing. For the same exact thing. This isn't gonna be him and Diddy are just the tip of the iceberg. I think that's really what's gonna kind of change the equilibrium of hip hop. I mean, this type of stuff still goes on today. You have the whole Chief Keef and Bad Baby thing, where apparently he was with her when she was underage. But this is like, the fact that this is happening over and over and over again is crazy. And I want to say as well too that, to the Black community, to the Latino community, we need to start paying attention to what these people are doing, because I also feel like they're kind of putting it out in open, and they're putting it out in the open, and they're letting us know, and we're just kind of letting it go right over our head, like even just from the names and the labels of these guys. I mean, Diddy said, I got Bad Boy Records, and we were like, okay, that doesn't mean anything ominous. We just ate that, Fat Joe said, I'm literally leading a squadron of terror. And what we say? Okay, cool. Listen, I'm not saying that like any hip hop name means somebody's automatically a criminal or they're crazy or whatever, but I do think that normalizing illegal behavior on such a grand scale causes a lot of shit to slip through the cracks. I understand people coming from a certain background, having to make ends meet and do what they had to do in their lives to protect their families and to eat at the end of the day because of poverty and the way that the American, financial system is, I totally get that. But I think in addition to letting the drug dealing slide, in addition to letting the, physical violent retaliations slide, we also ended up letting a lot of these inappropriate acts with like younger kids slide as well too, and it makes sense because it's like, you got to think about it. These guys, they came up like in the crack era, so like right in the heart of the 80s, and that was primarily when the Black family was destroyed. And so, same with the Latino family too. I mean, most of our neighborhoods are side by side, and when those things happened, it just decimated the support system that all these people had. You had, people who once had moms that now have a crackhead mom who has no money and is selling everybody's stuff in order to get money to buy more drugs. And now you have this 12-year-old who has no family and now has to fend for himself, drops out of school, starts selling drugs. And now there's this mixture of like adult and adolescent, which kind of, gets a little blurred. And so I'm not making excuses for these people, but I also think it's not a surprise as to why back then they thought doing something like that was more acceptable. Crazy shit though is when you look into the Fat Joe shit, is that there's actually like some recent stuff that he's done, which is nuts. Like, obviously I was bringing in the context of all this extra shit, but supposedly he was dealing with girls that were under 18, maybe even just a couple years ago, which is insane. Fat Joe is what, in his like 50s now, or like late 40s? They said he was doing a lot of this stuff in his 30s. He was messing with a 16-year-old in his 30s. That's insane. That's insane. And I hope that, whoever is telling the truth in that sees justice. But if any of the Fat Joe allegations are true, man, he's done. He's done. Either he's done, or we got to figure out what else we're doing as far as all this shit goes. Because too many people are getting caught. So we either gotta change the rules, or we just gotta get rid of everybody and start from a clean slate. I think we should do the second one. But let me know what you guys think about this stuff. Do you think that Fat Joe is guilty of all this stuff? Do you think that the reason a lot of these dudes were messing with minors is because of the crack era and everything that I was kind of talking about? Or do you think they're just nasty? Either one. You're open to your opinion, man. But let me know in the comments. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.